Hi folks, a quick video now on how to fault find on a Vaillant Ecofit Pure. And this is a system boiler, so there's no plate to plate and it doesn't do hot water. So it's a system boiler 618. Enjoy, any questions put in the comments below. System boiler look. Here's two circuits and the hot water. First things first, make sure you've got a 3 amp fuse. So if there's a problem, you want to blow the fuse, not the PCB. If it's likely you're going to spill water, try and put cling film over the PCB. That might save any issues or liabilities. The next thing is, this has been going around social media quite a while now, but if you think the PCB is faulty, put a hairdryer over it. And that can often work with the gas valve as well, because glycol can make the seating stick. So first things first, always go to the interface. Vaillant interface is one of the best on the market. So, flashing, that tells us that there's a heating demand. If the hot water tap was flashing, you know there's a call for hot water. Quick thing on Vaillants and the glowworms, S. So, this is good. S code, that means sequence of operation. So that's saying SO4, and I think that means the system's venting. So straight away, we know what the boiler's doing, what it's thinking, because there can't be a fault if there's no demand there, can there? So, put it in. So on this, I'm going to teach you some tips. This is only the basic model, it's not the plus, so here we go. D codes, but for this one, I'm going P codes. P00, that is range rating, high fire, low fire. Now this is a good little trick. If you're going P06, that'll put the diverter valve in mid position so you can drain it down again. Not a great deal we can check here, but look at the NTCs. So you've got one there and one at the top. Let's take this out. So if you think the NTC is faulty, it's giving off a bad reading between the flow and return, it goes in a fault, what you can do is, look, push it. And that will more often than not resolve the issue. The next thing you can do on an NTC is a resistance check. And we'll do that now. I'm going to pull this off so you can do a resistance reading actually on the component. So, the resistance across the NTC is 1.8. And you can see what I've set the resistance at. The horseshoe symbol, 20k. So 1.8k ohms. So let's look at what that means on the chart. 1.8k ohms, 70 degrees. So the temperature of that pipe is 70 degrees according to the resistance on the NTC. And that's right. I mean, that is red hot. So I agree with that. If you think the pump is seized or jammed, put a screwdriver in and just turn the anti-seize screw inside. Here I'm checking voltage going to the gas valve. 16 volts. DC is the straight line. These are very, very efficient gas valves. These gas valves are a category C type gas valve, which means the suction from the fan also helps lift it. So for the gas valve, we check this voltage there, but another check you can do is resistance check. So I'm doing a resistance check now. I've taken the harness off. When you do a resistance check, you're allowed to have 10% plus or minus either side. And there's a few other tricks we'll go through on the gas valve as well. So there's the gas valve. We're in the connection. Come down. 40 to 45 ohms resistance is what you get. So you can see there, 1 ohms resistance, the horseshoe, 200 less. So that is acceptable. I'm happy with that. Another trick you can do to find out if the gas valve is faulty, isolate the boiler underneath, put it in demand, and if the U gauge loses pressure, it tells you the gas valve is opening up, and the gas that you've got inside the U gauge between the isolation underneath, it's being drawn into the burner, so therefore it's opening up. Next is the vessel. The vessel is one that goes quite regularly, and installers for some reason never really inspect on the service. So a few tips now on how to service and maintain the life of a expansion vessel. With an expansion vessel as well, it's worth noting that if the system's dirty, it's got hydrogen in, it will split the vessel. And if there's magnetite in, it'll split the vessel. And you've got to consider the pressure on the other side. So whatever you charge it with, it needs to really make the diaphragm equal. So whatever you charge it with, how many floors are above it? Ideally, you want to add half a bar per floor above it. Whenever you go to charge the vessel up, always have an open end so that when you go to charge it up, it's not going against pressure. This is showing 0.8 bar. So what I've done is I've put some lubricant in there, so when I push air in, it actually seals it, helps lubricate it. So I'm just going to charge it up to 1 bar. There you go. So, first things first, I'm going to put some LDF. That's good, and it's not leaking. So, Vaillants and glowworms. Vaillant glowworms, they have a big problem with the pressure sensors, but only if the system's dirty. And what a pressure sensor does, it senses the increase in pressure when the pump comes on. So, if the pressure sensor is full of magnetite, and it's seized, and the pump comes on, it won't go up 0.2. And that's basically what the pressure sensor does. It protects the heat exchanger for low water content, and it senses the pump activation. So here's a few tips on how to overhaul and service the pressure sensor. So the pressure sensor is low voltage, DC, which means on the multimeter, it's a straight line. Most appliances, a lot of their components inside are actually low voltage. Flow switch, diverter valve, gas valve. So let's now check the supply going to the pressure sensor. So here we go. 20 volts DC, 0. Neutral to live, 5 volts. Neutral to the return, which is the green, 1.2 volts, which means it's about 2 bar. So here we have the pressure sensor inside, is a magnet, and sometimes you can tap it and get the rust out, and that will seal it again. So, some boring stuff now. Top 2 buttons, S codes, sequence. Let's put the installer code in, which is 17. Have that. Decodes, here we go. Let's go to decodes, accept. D00, that is actually range rating. 8, that's how it's getting a receiver. 16, 17, 18, 19, that is actually the pump, how to set it, you can make it permanently on. 22, I like that. If it says 1, it tells you the flow switch is working for the hot water. D33, that's for the pump. So D33 and D34, that should be the same speed. D35, that's the position of the diverter valve. This one doesn't have one because it's a system boiler. (40, 41) flow return temperatures, that's good for your servicing. Another one that's quite good is D70. You can move the diverter valve in the position that you want. Also, that will tell you if it's working. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching. Any questions, comment below. Any video requests, comment below. Here to help, and I'm happy to help.